I'm just a regular guy, not one for stirring up trouble, but some things cut deep, and you can't shake them. It all started at my dad's 60th birthday party, a big backyard barbecue at their place in Ohio. I was put on grill duty, like always. My Uncle Ray handed me the tongs and said, "Don't mess this up, Tommy. It's the only thing you're good for." Everyone chuckled, thinking it was a harmless jab. I brushed it off, kept flipping burgers, sweating over the coals while the family mingled. Hours later, when I finally sat down with a plate, my dad looked at me, his face sour, and said, "You did all right, now get lost. I don't need you ruining my view while I eat." The whole table erupted in laughter. My sister, Clara, piped up, "Yeah, Tommy, don't block the scenery." My mom just sighed and muttered, "Here we go with your nonsense again." I didn't argue. I stared at them, my chest tight, and said, "You'll wish you hadn't said that one day." Then I walked out. Nobody stopped me. 2 years later, they got a wake-up call they never expected. Now my phone's blowing up with voicemails at 4 in the morning, my family begging, "Tommy, please, just talk to us. We'll do anything." I'm not sure why I'm writing this, but it's been eating at me for weeks, and my hands still shake when I think about it. I'm not one to hold grudges, but this time, they crossed a line. Claire has been acting high and mighty since she landed a fancy job in Chicago, always bragging about her big city life at every family dinner. She's the golden child, always has been. My parents never hid it, especially Mom, who sometimes looks at me like I'm a stray dog who wandered into her house. I've always felt like an afterthought, like they planned for Clara. Face it, I'm not the type to make a scene, but this time, I'm done letting things slide. Clara's success only made it worse. When she bought a swanky condo in the city, I wasn't surprised I didn't get an invite to her housewarming party. I saw her post about it online, all proud, with my cousin Jenny commenting, "Can't wait for Saturday." I checked the family group chat, nothing. No mention of it. I asked Mom if she was going, and she brushed me off, saying, "Oh, it's just a small thing for her close friends." Close friends? I'm her brother. That stung. I tried to let it go, but it gnawed at me. The day of the party, I couldn't resist. I scrolled through my phone and saw Clara's boyfriend post a story. Her backyard was packed, music blaring, lights strung up. Everyone was there. Cousins, old neighbors, even my high school buddy, Mike. I don't know what came over me, but I got in my truck and drove over. I wasn't planning to barge in. I just needed to see it for myself. When I got there, the street was lined with cars. I parked a block away, feeling like a creep, and walked past her place, trying to look casual. Through the fence, I saw Dad tossing beanbags, Uncle Ray yelling at the grill, and Clara holding court, all smiles. My heart sank. For a moment, I felt like I was watching someone else's family. I stood there, hidden by the dusk, and on impulse, I called Clara. She picked up, no greeting, just snapped, "Why would you think you're invited? Nobody wants you here, Tommy. You always make everything awkward." I heard Mom in the background, loud and clear, "This place isn't for screw-ups like you." Laughter followed, sharp as a knife. I froze, my face burning. Finally, I said, "All right, I hear you. You'll remember this." I hung up, my hands trembling so bad I nearly dropped my phone. As I turned to leave, Clara's boyfriend spotted me and shouted, "Yo, is that Tommy?" Clara didn't even glance my way, just kept walking. I called out, "What, you can't face me now?" She smirked and said, "Don't start your drama here. Go home." I stepped closer. "Or what? You'll kick out your own brother." She got in my face, taller than me, always has been, and shoved me. I shoved back, hard. "Don't touch me again," I said. She laughed, cold, and slammed the gate behind her. My cousin Jenny caught my eye, gave a weak wave, then turned away. I got in my truck, sat there for a while, watching people laugh and drink like I didn't exist. I texted Mom. "You could have just said I wasn't wanted." No reply. I called Dad. He said, "I'm busy, Tommy. Don't make a mess of this." Then he hung up. That was it. I drove home, my blood boiling, and started a list on my phone. Every time they treated me like dirt. I wasn't sure what I'd do with it, but I knew I wasn't taking this lying down anymore. I'm no punching bag. Stay tuned. This is just the start. They're about to learn what happens when you push the wrong guy too far. After that housewarming fiasco at Clara's condo, I figured someone might reach out. Not an apology, just a quick check-in to see if I was still breathing. But no, it was dead silence. My cousin Jenny posted a story a few days later. Everyone grinning, Clara playing queen of her new castle, Mom pouring drinks like she was running a bar. The family group chat was buzzing with great party messages, but nobody mentioned me. It hurt, but it also lit a fire. I started thinking, what if I just stopped? Not just stopped showing up, but stopped doing all the little things I'd always done for them. You don't realize how much you carry for people until you list it out. I was the guy who fixed Dad's ancient computer, drove across town to pick up Mom's prescriptions, even helped Clara set up her smart TV when she moved into her last apartment. They'd text me at odd hours, midnight calls about a busted router or a locked email account, and I'd just handle it. Always the reliable one, never the appreciated one. After what they said, though, I was done. I didn't blow up or send angry texts. I just went quiet. When Clara texted me about her Wi-Fi acting up, I replied, "I'm busy." She pushed, saying, "It'll take you 10 minutes, Tommy." I left her on read. Mom called about a flickering porch light, and I said, call an electrician. I've got my own stuff going on. She huffed. So you're too good for us now. I said, pretty much. It felt strange, like I was breaking some unwritten rule, but it also felt right. Clara tried to play it cool, commenting on an old photo of mine online, fishing for a response. I ignored it. Dad, who usually stays out of the drama, left a voicemail. Your mom's upset. Come by and talk. I texted back, maybe next week. I didn't go. For the first time, I wasn't at their beck and call. I stopped answering late-night texts about car trouble or picking up groceries. I even set my phone to mute their numbers after 8 at night. Jenny texted once, asking, we cool? I replied, yeah, just need some space. She sent a nod emoji and left it at that. It was weirdly peaceful, not having to jump every time they snapped their fingers. I started noticing how much of my life revolved around their needs. Hours spent driving, fixing, fetching. I muted the family group chat, tired of their endless debates over who was bringing what to the next cookout. Nobody seemed to care at first, but then the cracks started showing. About 2 weeks in, Clara called, annoyed, saying her surround sound wasn't working for a movie night she had planned. Can you come fix it? She asked. I said, I'm not your tech guy anymore. She scoffed and hung up. Mom texted soon after. Clara's got a lot on her plate. Why are you making it harder? I replied, I've got my own plate. She didn't respond. Then came Dad's annual fishing trip, where I'd usually handle the boat trailer, pack the coolers, and set up the campsite. This time, I said I couldn't make it. Mom asked why I didn't bring the extra chairs she'd mentioned. I said, didn't know I was supposed to. Asked Clara. She glared but didn't push. At the trip, nobody talked to me much. I showed up late, ate a burger, scrolled my phone, and left early. My Uncle Ray texted later, you okay? You were real quiet. I said, just tired. He didn't follow up. I ran into Clara at the grocery store a few days later. She barely looked at me, just muttered something to her friend and walked off. I nodded and kept going. Then Mom called, panicked, saying her garage door was stuck halfway. I said, I'm not around. Try Dad. She got mad, voice sharp. You're acting selfish, Tommy. I said, you call me a screw-up. Figure it out. She hung up. It was wild how fast they noticed I wasn't playing along anymore. Clara left a voicemail, all attitude. What's your deal? Stop making everything difficult. I deleted it. Dad called, softer, saying, just call your mom. She's driving me nuts. I said, I'll think about it. I didn't. Then Clara's movie night went south. Her speakers wouldn't connect, the pizza got cold, and half her friends bailed. Mom texted me. You could have helped. You embarrassed your sister. I replied, not my job. She called, yelling, and I hung up. The next day, Dad texted, this has to stop, Tommy. You're breaking us apart. I almost laughed. Me? Breaking them? All I did was stop being their doormat. They were starting to feel it, and I wasn't even close to done. This was just the beginning. They thought they could treat me like nothing. Wait till they see what's next. By week 3 of me stepping back, things were getting messy, and I'll admit, it felt kind of good to watch. I wasn't yelling or throwing punches, just letting my family deal with their own messes for once. I'd always been the guy they called when something broke, whether it was Mom's laptop freezing or Clara's fancy coffee maker acting up. Now, I was done playing fix-it man, and they were starting to sweat. Mom sent me a photo of her backyard shed, door warped from a storm, with a text, this is what happens when you abandon your family. I didn't reply. Clara wasn't faring much better. My buddy Mike, who was at her housewarming, told me her patio lights kept shorting out after some friend of hers tried to fix them. Apparently, it ruined her last get-together, and she was griping about it nonstop. I saw a clip on Jenny's story, Clara's backyard, lights flickering like a cheap horror movie, and her cursing under her breath. I couldn't help but grin. They'd always acted like I was useless, but now they were seeing how much I'd been holding together. I started looking at all the little ways I'd prop them up. I'd set up their home Wi-Fi, programmed Dad's smart thermostat, even walked Mom through paying her bills online when she forgot her passwords. Clara used to call me to troubleshoot her work laptop because she didn't trust her IT guy. I never got a thank you, just more demands. So, I made a mental note of everything I'd been covering and started pulling the plug. I stopped renewing the family's shared streaming account I'd been paying for. I texted Clara, you're on your own for the movie app subscription. I'm not footing the bill anymore. She fired back, real mature, Tommy. I didn't respond. Mom tried logging into her online banking and got locked out because I'd set up the 2-factor authentication with my email. She called, voice sharp, fix this now. I said, ask Clara. She's the smart one. She hung up, fuming. Clara posted a vague rant online about unreliable people, and I just scrolled past. Dad called, which was rare, sounding tired. Your mom's a wreck, and Clara's stressed. Can't you just let this go? I said, I already did. He texted later, you're making this harder than it needs to be. I left it on read. The money stuff hit them next. Clara had a habit of borrowing cash from me when her paycheck was late, promising to pay me back. She never did. This time, when she texted asking for a few hundred to cover a bill, I said, not happening. She called, pissed, you're seriously letting me sink? I said, you said I wasn't wanted. Handle it. She hung up. Mom texted, you let your sister's bill go unpaid? I replied, she's a big girl. No answer. Then came the family barbecue at Uncle Ray's. Normally, I'd be there early, setting up tables, hauling ice, making sure the grill was ready. This time, I showed up an hour late with a soda and a bag of chips. Mom asked where the extra propane tank was. I said, didn't know I was supposed to bring it. She muttered something about me being useless. Clara gave me a dirty look, but didn't say much. I ate, watched a baseball game on my phone, and left before dessert. My Aunt Karen texted after, you seemed off. Everything all right? I said, just keeping to myself. She didn't push. A few days later, I saw Clara at a gas station. She glared, whispered something to her boyfriend, and walked off. I just nodded and pumped my gas. Then Mom called, frantic, saying her car wouldn't start before a big church meeting. I said, call a tow truck. She snapped, you're heartless, Tommy. I said, you said I was a screw-up. Live with it. She hung up. The real chaos hit when Clara's next party flopped. Her sound system wouldn't sync, and nobody could figure it out. The food delivery was late, and her friends left early. Mom texted me, you could have helped Clara. You ruined her night. I replied, she ruined her own night. Dad texted the next day, this is tearing us apart, Tommy. Stop it. I laughed out loud. Me? Tearing them apart? All I did was stop bailing them out. They were starting to panic, calling me at all hours, texting about broken appliances, missed payments, canceled plans. I silenced their numbers at night. Mom even showed up at my apartment, banging on the door. My neighbor texted, asking if I was okay. I opened the door, and Mom tried to barge in. I blocked her. She smacked my shoulder, yelling, act like an adult. Your family needs you. I said, you need me? Then act like I'm your son. She stormed off, slamming her car door. Clara texted later, stop being a jerk. Mom's freaking out. I replied, maybe you should step up then. She didn't answer. It's been a month now, and they're still trying to guilt me into coming back. I'm not budging. They wanted me gone? Fine. Let's see how they handle life without their fallback guy. This is just the warm-up. Things are about to get real. It's been about 5 weeks since I started pulling away, and my family's world is starting to wobble. I'm not out here starting fights or throwing tantrums, just letting them feel what it's like without me picking up their slack. They're scrambling, and I'm not gonna lie, it's satisfying to see them squirm. Mom keeps sending me guilt-trippy texts, like a blurry photo of her flooded laundry room with the caption, this is on you, Tommy. I don't bite. Clara's not doing much better. My old friend Mike told me her condo's outdoor speakers are still busted, and her last brunch party was a dud because of it. I saw a post on Jenny's story, Clara's patio, music barely audible, guests looking bored. I smirked. They always acted like I was just in the way, but now they're tripping over the holes I used to fill. I started digging deeper into what I'd been doing for them all these years. I wasn't just fixing Wi-Fi or running errands. I was their safety net. I'd set up Mom's online grocery account, paid for Dad's fishing club dues when he forgot, even covered Clara's phone bill once or twice when she was between jobs. They never paid me back, just expected me to keep it up. So, I started cutting those cords. I canceled the cloud storage I'd been paying for, the one with all their vacation photos. I texted Mom, cloud account's done. Get your own. She called, furious, you're erasing our memories. I said, nah, just not paying for them anymore. Clara's work website, which I'd built for her freelance gigs, went offline when I stopped renewing the domain. She texted, my clients can't reach me. Fix it. I replied, not my problem. She sent a string of angry emojis and went silent. Dad called, sounding worn out. Your mom's losing it, and Clara's panicking. Why can't you just help? I said, they said I wasn't wanted. I'm respecting their wishes. He sighed and hung up. Then I started poking at what they really care about, how they look to others. Clara's obsessed with her perfect city girl image, always posting about her dream life. Mom loves being the neighborhood saint, bragging about her charity work. Dad just wants everyone to think he's got it all together. I knew Clara's condo had issues she'd been dodging, like a deck she built too close to the neighbor's line. I'd warned her when she put it up, but she brushed me off. So, I printed out a public zoning map, highlighted the violation, and slipped it into her building manager's mailbox with a note. Might want to check Clara's deck. No signature, just facts. A week later, Clara's freaking out in the family group chat, saying the manager's threatening fines. She called me, voice shaking. Did you do this? I said, do what? I'm not even there. She hung up. Mom's reputation took a hit too. She'd been leaning on me to manage her church group's email list. Without me, she missed sending out invites for their big fundraiser. I heard from Jenny that people were gossiping about Mom dropping the ball. Mom called, near tears. You let me look like a fool. I said, maybe ask your perfect daughter for help. She didn't answer. The money problems were piling up too. Clara missed a condo fee because I didn't bail her out like usual. Mom texted, you're letting your sister lose her home? I replied, she's got a fancy job. Let her figure it out. Dad's fishing trip got canceled because he couldn't get the boat running without me. He texted, this is on you, Tommy. I didn't respond. Then came Clara's big client pitch. She'd planned a rooftop party to impress them, but her tech setup failed without me to troubleshoot. Jenny told me it was a disaster. Clients left early, and Clara was humiliated. Mom called, screaming, "You're ruining her career." I said, "She ruined her own night when she called me a screw-up." I hung up. They started turning on each other. Mom blamed Clara for not stepping up. Clara snapped at Mom for relying on her too much. Dad just stopped answering his phone. Jenny texted, "Tommy, you're shaking things up." I said, "They shook me first." The calls kept coming. Mom at midnight, Clara at dawn, Dad in the middle of the day. I blocked them all except Jenny. They're starting to crack, but I'm not stopping here. They wanted me out of their lives? Cool. Let's see how they handle it when their perfect little world keeps falling apart. Next move's gonna hit even harder. 6 weeks in, and my family's starting to crack under the weight of their own chaos. I'm not out here plotting like some mastermind, just letting them deal with the mess they made when they decided I was disposable. They're used to me fixing everything, from Mom's jammed printer to Clara's botch party plans, but I'm done being their fallback. Mom sent me a text with a photo of her broken mailbox, smashed in a storm, with the words, "You could have fixed this, Tommy." Now we're the talk of the street. I left it unanswered. Clara's condo drama's getting worse. My buddy Mike said her building manager's hounding her about that deck, and she's facing a hefty fine. I saw her post a cryptic quote online about betrayal, and I just scrolled by. They're feeling the pinch, and I'm not lifting a finger. I started thinking about all the ways I'd been their invisible glue. I'd paid for Dad's hunting license renewals, set up Mom's smart doorbell, even helped Clara move her furniture when she got that condo. They never said thanks, just kept piling on more. So, I kept pulling back. I stopped covering the family's shared music streaming account. I texted Clara, "Music app's on you now. I'm out." She called, voice sharp, "You're seriously this petty?" I said, "Call it what you want." She hung up. Mom's church group website, which I'd been maintaining, went offline when I let the hosting lapse. She called, frantic, "People can't sign up for events. Fix it." I said, "Not my job anymore." She started yelling, and I ended the call. Dad left a voicemail, sounding defeated. "Tommy, this is getting out of hand. Just help your mom." I texted back. She said I was a screw-up. "She's got this." He didn't reply. Their public image is taking the biggest hit, and that's where it stings them most. Clara's all about her Instagram perfect life, but her condo's turning into a money pit. I heard from Jenny that Clara's neighbors are gossiping about her deck drama, and her city queen vibes crumbling. Mom's losing her shine too. Her church group's in disarray without the website, and she's dodging questions about why. I decided to nudge that along. Mom's neighborhood association was planning a block party, and she'd always leaned on me to print flyers and set up their email blasts. I found their public contact form online and sent an anonymous tip. Check the permit for the block party. Might not be filed. I knew Mom had forgotten to submit it because she'd asked me to remind her. A few days later, Jenny texted, "Block party's canceled." Mom's mortified. Mom called, sobbing, "You did this, didn't you?" I said, "Did what?" "I'm just staying out of your way." She hung up. The money woes are piling up too. Clara's condo fees are overdue again, and she's been hitting up friends for loans. Dad's truck needed a new battery, and he called me, asking if I could swing by with my tools. I said, "Call a mechanic." He muttered, "You're killing me, Tommy," and hung up. Clara's latest client meeting tanked because her projector wouldn't work without me to set it up. Mom texted, "You're destroying your sister's future." I replied, "She destroyed her own night when she shut me out." They're starting to snap at each other now. Mom's blaming Clara for not pulling her weight. Clara's yelling at Dad for not stepping in. Dad's just hiding at his buddy's garage. Jenny texted, "You've got them rattled, Tommy." I said, "They rattled me first." The calls are relentless. Mom at 3 in the morning, Clara at lunch, Dad in the evening. I blocked them all except Jenny. They're begging for help, but I'm not budging. They wanted me gone? Fine. I'm just getting started. Next, I'm hitting them where they'll feel it most, their pride. They're about to learn what life's like without their invisible fixer. 2 months in, and my family's falling apart like a cheap lawn chair. I'm not out here gloating, but I'm not sorry either. They treated me like I was nothing, so I stopped being their crutch. Now they're stumbling, and it's all on them. Mom's neighborhood reputation's in the gutter. Her block party flops the talk of the street, and her church group's still a mess without me running their tech. She sent me a text. "You've humiliated me, Tommy. Happy now?" I didn't answer. Clara's condo's a disaster. Her deck's officially a violation, and she's got to tear it down or pay thousands. Mike told me she's been crying to anyone who will listen, but her perfect life posts are getting fewer likes. I saw her story, a sad coffee mug with some quote about tough times. I kept scrolling. Dad's barely around, spending most of his time at his friend's place, dodging the drama. I've been methodical, not cruel. I listed every way I'd prop them up, paying for their antivirus software, setting up Mom's online banking, even fixing Clara's air conditioner last summer. I stopped it all. I let the family's shared cloud drive expire, locking away years of photos. Mom called, near hysterics. "Those are our memories." I said, "Then pay for them yourself." Clara's freelance website's still down, and she's losing clients fast. She texted, "You're killing my business." I replied, "You killed your own party when you called me a screw-up." She didn't respond. Their pride's taking the hardest hit, and I leaned into it. Clara had a big charity gala she was co-hosting, part of her City Star image. I'd always helped with her event tech, projectors, sound systems, the works. This time, I didn't show. Jenny said the gala was a train wreck, slides wouldn't load, the mic kept cutting out, and Clara looked like she'd been slapped. Mom's been dodging her church friends, too ashamed to admit she can't manage without me. I sent another anonymous tip to the neighborhood association about Mom's overgrown yard, which she'd neglected since I stopped mowing it. They sent her a warning letter. She called, screaming, "You're tearing us down." I said, "You tore me down first." She hung up. The money's drying up too. Clara's condo fees are so late she's getting eviction notices. Dad's truck's still dead, and he's bumming rides from friends. Mom's phone got cut off because she missed a payment, and she had to borrow Jenny's to call me. I said, "Sounds like a you problem." They're imploding. Mom's blaming Dad for not controlling me. Dad's snapping at Clara for starting this, and Clara's telling everyone I'm the villain. Jenny texted, "They're a mess, Tommy. You sure about this?" I said, "They made their bed." The calls are desperate now, Mom leaving voicemails at 4 in the morning, sobbing. "Please, Tommy, we need you." Clara called, voice breaking. "I can't do this alone. Help me." I hung up. Dad texted, "You're breaking your mother's heart." I didn't reply. Then Clara showed up at my apartment, banging on the door. I opened it, and she tried to push past. I blocked her. She yelled, "You win? Okay? Just stop." I said, "You said nobody wanted me. Why are you here now?" She started crying, and I shut the door. They're begging, but I'm not caving. They wanted me out? They got it. But I'm not done showing them what that really means. Next, I'm making sure they can't ignore the consequences of pushing me away. It's been 3 months, and I've made my point. My family's in shambles, and I'm not the one cleaning it up. I didn't go full villain. Just let their world crumble without me holding it together. Mom's a ghost in her own neighborhood, too embarrassed to show her face after the yard warning and her church group's collapse. She left a voicemail last week, voice shaky. "Tommy, please, we're sorry. Just come back." I didn't call back. Clara's condo's on the brink. She's selling it to cover the fines and fees she can't pay. Her city queen image is toast. Her posts are just sad now. No more glamorous shots. Mike said she's working a desk job. Her freelance gigs dried up. Dad's moved in with his buddy, avoiding Mom's rants. I didn't do anything illegal or crazy. Just stop being their fixer and let their shortcuts catch up. I've been covering their tracks forever, paying for their apps, fixing their tech, even hiding Clara's late bills from her landlord. I stopped, and it all fell apart. The final straw was Clara's last event, a fundraiser she'd hyped for weeks. I'd always handled her tech setup, but this time, I stayed home. Jenny said it was a disaster, lights failed, the slideshow crashed, and donors walked out. Clara called me, sobbing. "You've ruined me, Tommy. Happy now?" I said, "You ruined yourself when you said I didn't belong." I hung up. Mom tried one last time, showing up at my apartment. She knocked for 10 minutes, crying, "You're my son. We need you." I opened the door, arms crossed. "You called me a screw-up. You don't get to need me now." She begged, but I shut the door. Dad texted, "You've gone too far. We're family." I replied, "Family doesn't treat each other like you did." That was it. I didn't burn bridges with everyone. Jenny's still in my corner, texting me to check in. She said, "They're learning, Tommy, but it's rough." I said, "They'll survive. Or they won't." I started telling people the truth when they asked, calm, no drama. Clara's old landlord called about damage she left at her last place. I told him I'd fixed it for her and she'd skipped the bill. He sent her a notice. Mom's church friend asked why the website was down. I said she'd relied on me and cut me out. Word spread, and their perfect masks are slipping. I'm not out for blood, but I'm not their doormat anymore. I've got my own life now, new job, new friends, no more late-night calls to fix their messes. They're still calling, leaving voicemails at all hours, but I blocked them all except Jenny. They wanted me gone, and I gave them what they asked for. Maybe they'll rebuild, maybe not. Either way, I'm not going back. I'm not the screw-up they thought I was. I'm the guy who walked away and found his own peace. If you're reading this and you've been where I am, listen. Sometimes, the best move is to stop carrying people who don't carry you. Let them figure it out. You'll be all right.